Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Closing Comments here on December 2nd. Let's jump right into our charts and see what happened in the markets today. First up, we have our February live cattle. Today we did see a nice little reversal following yesterday's downside. Prices opening up there above our bull pivot at 217 and seeing a nice strong rally up there towards 222.5. Prices pushing up here above that bull pivot and starting to test some of this overhead supply from these prior weeks. If we look here on our intraday charts, we can see this market hitting and running off that opening range here today. Prices rallying all the way up there into this week 46 value area high. Started to balance out here late in the day. We want to see some more balance action and this market to settle down here and create some tighter ranges before reversing. Big picture downtrend still remains intact, so we still have some downside risk to be cautious of here as we're trading in between our major moving averages. Bulls need to see this market clear this 50-day moving average and above this 20-day high to get a potential trend reversal. But in the meantime, we still expect to see the sellers step back in and try and take another leg lower here. So look for this market to settle up and try and balance out here in the next couple of days, and those sellers start to attack this downside once again. If they aren't able to get any more downside to come from here and we get a higher low put in here over the next few days, the next couple weeks, we're going to have to keep an eye on that 20-day high and this 50-day moving average as well as a potential breakout and trend reversal spots. So just a few levels to keep an eye on here as we go into the rest of the week, and just a roadmap for both directions from here. So let's just keep an eye out and slow play this one. Wait and see how this market kind of acts here throughout the rest of the week. Should give us some more clues as we go into the end of the year. Feeders also up nice and strong here today. Prices opening up near the top end of our prior day's range and rallying up there. Seeing a limit higher at one point today. Prices settling back, finishing there just off that 330 mark. Plenty of overhead resistance here in between 330 and 340, so it's not going to be an easy climb straight back out of here. But this feeder market is definitely a little bit more bullish here than that live cattle market. Seeing this market start to come up here on this 50-day moving average. Going to be keeping an eye on that level as well as a 20-day high here that we're going to need to keep an eye on going forward. Still expect to see some resistance step in here over the next couple days and see this big picture downtrend start to head back lower once again. But in the meantime, let's kind of slow play this thing and see if this is going to balance out or not for us. If it does continue rallying here, the bulls need to clear this 20-day high at 333.70 and that 50-day moving average. From there, we could see a potential rally attempt and see this market try and get that uptrend back on track. In the meantime, though, we still have a lot of work to do, a lot of overhead supply to clear, so slow play that. Let's see if the the bears are going to take another leg lower. A higher low would be a big win for the bulls if we do get a little reversal and a pullback and make another run at that 50-day moving average and potentially get a new trend reversal into the end of the year. In the meantime, though, expect to see the sellers start to step in over the next couple of days. I want to encourage everyone to remain defensive here until this market has a little bit more structure to trade around. Over to our March corn futures. Prices with a pretty volatile day here today, with prices trading in about a 10-cent range. Prices briefly poking above that 450 range high before settling back just shy of that here today. At the moment, we still have this market following this uptrend line here, but this 4.5 area has been a pretty sticky and choppy spot. This market needs to clear above this 450 line, and then from there we need to get a close above 457 to really confirm that uptrend. But at the moment, looking like the bulls are starting to put some pressure on 450. This has been a spot where we have gotten a lot of reversals here over the last about 3, 4, or 5 months. And so not really encouraging anyone to take new positions up here near these highs. This market has been really choppy, and we want to see this thing kind of create a little bit more structure here as well and clean up some of this trend and start to respect these moving averages a little bit better. And from there, we could see some upside come from that. But in the meantime, this market has been really sticky between 440 and 450, and we expect to see this choppy range-bound action to continue. Crude oil prices rejecting off of that top end of that trend channel today. Yesterday's rally saw this market get capped near the top end of that trend line, and today's action breaking down, flushing back down below that prior day's high and that 20-day moving average, getting the ball rolling down here towards 58.27. Wasn't able to push through that bear pivot today, but at the moment the bears still are in control, and we should see this slow bleed continue here throughout the rest of the week. Look for the bears to keep pushing this market lower in a slow and steady fashion. And next up, we have our equity indexes. Pretty tight range day here in the S&P futures. The strength was over here in the Nasdaq with a nice little rally above that prior day's high. Seeing this market start to push up here and start to test that follow through day action. We weren't able to get that follow through day, but the Nasdaq was definitely the closest. We are seeing this market rallying above these prior day highs and starting to pick up a little volume here, so that's a good sign for the bulls to potentially get this big picture uptrend back on track. The S&P futures trading in the range here over the last 3 days, looking like they're tightening up. If this market is able to push above 68.65 as we head into tomorrow's session or throughout the rest of the week, should see the bulls try and take this market higher and start attacking these all-time highs once again. If they aren't able to get that, and we do start to see this market trade back down here below 68.24, I encourage everyone to remain cautious and defensive, continue to be selective, and hang on to those relative strength stocks. But in the meantime, looking like we're seeing signs of life here from the bulls, and if we are able to get a rally here above 68.65 tomorrow, should open the door to get this uptrend back on track. And maybe this dip back down here to 65.30 is about all that it's going to offer. So at the moment, that's what it's looking like here. I'm just going to wait and see how tomorrow's action closes. If we are able to get a heavy volume rally of gain with a gain of over 1%, could see this market put in that follow through day and see that upside get back on track and see these equity prices climb into the end of the year. That's all we got for tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.